During an interview that aired on Thursday with Donald Trump and conservative host Hugh Hewitt, Hewitt asked Donald Trump if he still wants to debate President Biden, as soon as possible. And Trump said, yeah, anytime, any place, let's do this. And then Hugh Hewitt asked him, do you think he'll agree? And it was in response to that question about whether or not President Biden will agree to go ahead and start debating Donald Trump that Trump decided to launch into a conspiracy theory that somehow President Biden is just loaded up with cocaine. Here is what Trump said in response to, do you think he will? I don't think so, but I hope he does. I think what happened is, the white stuff that they happened to find, which happened to be cocaine in the White House. I don't know. I think something's going on there because I watched this State of the Union and he was all jacked up at the beginning. By the end, he was fading fast. There's something going on there. I want a debate. I think debates with him, at least, should be drug tested. I want a drug test. So Hugh Hewitt was a little taken back by this. And he goes, Mr. President, are you suggesting President Biden's using cocaine? And then Trump responded, I don't know what he's using, but that was not, hey, he was higher than a kite. And by the way, it was the worst address I've ever seen, the State of the Nation. The State of the Nation. It's the State of the Union. Then he goes, I'll tell you, State of the Union, that's not State of the Union because he doesn't represent us properly. Oh, okay. So you messed up. You're like trying to accuse this guy. Like, he's on drugs. He can't even get his word straight. And then you call it State of the Nation. And then you're like, well, I call it that because it's not really a State of the Union because, he doesn't really represent us. You're such a friggin' liar. Like, oh my God, just admit that, oops, sorry, my bad. I do it all the time. It happens when you talk a lot, especially for a living. You misspeak and you can correct yourself. You don't have to be like, well, I intentionally did that. But anyway, this other man is on drugs. You're insane. This man is insane. Anyone that supports him is insane at this point. This is absolutely utter, unbelievable BS coming out of this guy's mouth. Every single word of it. But there's always a but, right? I'm okay with drug tests for both of y'all. Let's see what you've got kicking around in your system, right, Donnie? I mean, there's been reports for years and years and years that you're all hopped up on Adderall for you to be able to do your speeches. I mean, we've seen you do speeches and do addresses where you're very low energy. You're acting like you don't even want to be there. And then other times you can't control yourself and you go off on these tangents and these weird lines and your hands are moving crazy and you're doing dances and whatnot. Like, you seem like you're on something. I mean, if you're going to accuse that guy of being on something, let's go the other way too, because we could make that argument on that side. Not to mention the fact that we're talking about the State of the Union address, which Republicans were pissed off at the time because Biden seemed to have too much energy, right? They've been attacking him for years as low energy Biden, Sleepy Joe, and then he comes out with all this energy, so it pissed him off. And it couldn't just be, right? Maybe he had an espresso or something before he went on. Oh God, no. It has to be drug use, obviously, in the minds of conservatives. So Trump is planting this seed. He planted it on Thursday, and we'll hear it again. Like, this is not going to go away. This will be Donald Trump's new talking point. He's getting attention for it, so he will continue it. Just like the bloodbath comment that, of course, he repeated the other day in Michigan. He knows it's going to get him attention, so he's going to continue doing it. So get used to hearing Donald Trump saying that President Biden is on cocaine, because that's going to be the new talking point.